Hello, and welcome to the Vlogging Pod. Today, I want to talk about something that quietly slid into Congress on June 13th, 2025, just days after protests had already erupted in Los Angeles. While the public was focused on growing demonstrations calling for justice, democracy, and accountability, a new bill was introduced that could quietly reshape how protests are handled across the country. It's called the House Resolution 4015. On the surface, the title sounds straightforward: to establish a criminal penalty for interfering with commerce by blocking public roads. But when you stop and think about what that really means, it becomes clear that this bill is aimed at something deeper. It was sponsored by Representative David Rouzer, a Republican for North Carolina's 7th District, and was sent directly to the House Judiciary Committee. As of now, it only has one co-sponsor, but that doesn't mean it won't gain traction and fast. What makes this bill concerning is not just its content, but its timing and its potential use. Blocking roads during protests isn't new. It's been part of American history for decades. From civil rights marches to climate actions, and more recently to protests in LA. People have used street demonstrations as a way to be seen, to demand change, and to speak out when other forms of communication fail. But this bill seeks to turn that act into a federal crime. There isn't any bill text published yet, but the intent is already clear. It is to criminalize protest tactics that interrupt traffic or business activity. In other words, it's not just about preventing road blockages, it's about discouraging one of the most visible and powerful forms of protest. And that affects not just one city or state. If passed, this law could be used across the country against any protest that temporarily blocks a road or disrupts commerce, even if done peacefully. You have to ask yourself, why now? Why introduce this just as national protests are gaining momentum? It's hard not to see this as a response. This isn't just about keeping roads clear, it's about controlling dissent. And by making protests easier to criminalize at federal level, it becomes a lot easier for the government to discourage people from showing up at all. It's also important to remember that once something like this is on the books, it can be used however the people in power choose. Peaceful protesters can be lumped in with those committing actual crimes, and the threat of federal charges could be enough to scare many people away from participating in future events. That's not just a shift in law, it's a shift in power. Right now, we're waiting for the full text of the bill to be released. That will tell us exactly how broad the language is and who might be at risk. It's also unclear whether this bill will get a hearing or if it's being used more as a warning shot. Either way, it's something we should be watching closely. Because if a protest can be silenced with a law that claims it's just protecting business or traffic, then what we're really doing is chipping away at one of the core rights, the right to be heard. Today's sources included the official Congress.gov tracker for H.R. 4015, the public committee records, and media coverage of the ongoing Los Angeles demonstrations. Thank you for listening. Until next time, bye-bye for now.